saying EDG should be the team that can do this.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think the LPL is getting better at tarring. Like, because it was pretty
Eventually,
horrendous
we
last
would have
split,
to.
But the fact it's been played so many times, and now we're seeing it sometimes internationally, like it has been doing significantly better. Varus pick up for Snake and specifically Crystal, and it will be Hootie locking in Guoguo's Cassiopeia towards the mid lane.
And we've really seen Cassie kind of as a rise and return to dealing with, unfortunately, I'm going to have to say Rise twice, dealing with Rise. I haven't seen her too often into the likes of Azir, so I am a little bit concerned there. Yeah. But if you can, match Azir's push, and if you're using Minion Dematerializer to do so, then that does open up a lot more opportunity for Cassie, and naturally her early game skirmishing at low levels is absolutely disgusting. So we'll see what Guoguo, if he picks up that rune to help him out.
I mean, Cassiopeia can also stop Azir from doing his, what is it, a swoop-de-doop?
The swoop-de-doop,
putting
slip
the
and slide.
miasma on the floor and very much get planted.
I can keep going.
I have no doubt. Ezreal was the final pickup from EDG, though, and that will go over to iBoy. And it's actually interesting that Ezreal made it all the way to the end of the picking phase for both teams without being banned or picked. So that's priority there.
Yeah, and Snake are definitely very familiar with iBoy's Ezreal. It was an absolute terror in Demacia Cup. SOFM in particular got styled on a little bit harder than he would have liked, but new series, new game, and Snake could look for revenge here.
Yes, they can. It was 3-2-1. But if they can pick up that one win, and maybe they just need one more, that one more win, they could upset EDG. But it's a tall mountain to climb, because even though they have new players, it's still the name. It's still the flagship team EDG they're facing down.
And, again, Clement talked about this on the desk. When you look at EDG's kills versus deaths, their ability to slow down in team fights. When you listen to the mic checks, you'll notice that Mako was constantly saying, slow down, controlling the tempo of a fight instead of just, calling out targets and rushing all forward. So Snake's increased ability to team fight will be tested here today because EDG are one of the most patient team fighters. It has been a staple of their organization since their inauguration in 2014.
And we'll take one more look at these compositions. So the Tam Kench and the Braum, two tank supports on the bottom side. So it will be running as well, top side. Again, an on gangplank. Getting used to saying that one. We're seeing so many of those matchups today.
So yeah, if we take a look or take a step back and just look at lane priority, I actually do want to start with the bottom lane because having the Varus there should give Crystal and Huddy the right foot or the right step to start their foot off. I don't know. They should have pushing power there with the Varus. We're going to ignore that. Yep. It's late.
Start off on the right foot,
but,
I think was the
but iBoy has this tendency where he will get to the lane first, so they'll prioritize him getting to the lane and not leashing his jungler. That crowd is insane.
Yeah, I'm struggling to hear you right now for us.
I'm going to give him a moment. Holy.
They just keep going. And frankly, it makes a lot of sense that these guys are going to be especially passionate because they literally went to the Snake venue. I actually do wonder how long they're going to go on for, though.
That was crazy cool. Oh my god. That sounded huge. I know the Shanghai arena sits around 500 people, and that was crazy.
I mean, the crowd just looked really dense over there. There seemed like a lot of people in a small space, and that was a lot. Up to like 1:05.
So what I was commenting on before is that a lot of times when iBoy plays the Ezreal, he actually won't be responsible for leashing the jungle, although he is going to grab the leash for Haro this time around, and it's to allow iBoy and Mako to, of course, get control of the wave, get there ahead of time, and make sure that you can punish with Ezreal because you need to be on the back caster creeps to land those mystic shots so he can have any sort of lane control. Because he's delayed, because he has to leash for Haro, and Snake actually got the superior push, Crystal and Hootie should have control of the spot lane for the majority of it.
Yeah. It's only going to be Tam Kench who takes a bit of damage here as Crystal was already on his side of the lane. And Haro's going to start on the bottom side, actually going towards the Grump as well before he moves towards his top side of the map.
Do want to give mad respect, though, to iBoy. He's like, Relic Shield? Nah. And we've seen a couple of Ezreals running that. He instead goes for the Doran's pot start. So he actually really wanted to be aggressive and forward in this lane, whereas Crystal took the more traditional approach of the overheal and the Relic. So a very defensive style bot lane.
Yeah, it's actually very rare you see an Ezreal not go for the Relic Shield anymore. We're seeing so many defensive builds like, I'm just going to get out of laning phase, I'm going to farm up, I'm going to get my tier, and then we're just going to kill people late game.
Yeah, it's two different mentalities, really. Again, the idea is that because it's so cost-effective, you don't necessarily need to take it, even if you thought that you would lose the matchup, and now everyone's kind of taking it, especially for the extra gold that it siphons into your support player. But I, like Raz, really do prefer this type of start, as there's an early flash.
Yeah, taking Scout's flash away. He's only got the exhaust now in that mid lane. And he's gone for Comet. He doesn't have the unsealed spellbook, so good luck.
And that's actually kind of one of Scout's big problems. He should have known that Jorvin was on top side of map simply because Crystal and Hootie had the initial push bottom. So he knows that Tom, Kinch, and Varys didn't have to help leash for Jorvin, so he started top side. It's also something that's pretty standard for Snake now. Flandre is constantly leashing SOFM for plays exactly like that to give him tempo advantage to open up immediate gank pathing at level 2 or 3. So Scout, bad read. Now he doesn't have his flash. He's going to have to be even more passive in this lane.
Yeah, it does happen a lot as well. However, he just completely blasted Gorgo, so maybe just
well, I mean,
lays that point a bit moot.
If you take a bad trade with your teeth, then...
Then yes, that will happen. Is that phase rush on the side of Gorgo? I think it is on Cassiopeia.
I almost don't want to trust the summoner spells or the keystone, because we've had some... had a little bit of issues getting them correct.
Okay,
so we'll wait till we see it to confirm.
Top lane there. Ornn just playing against the Gangplank. And Ornn pretty good early, but we'll see if they're actually able to get Haro into the top side and, you know, firmly punish Flandre.
And they need to punish him early. A lot of the times when top laners will take Ignite because they'll have the unsealed spellbook so they don't get punished by not having teleport, they'll do it not only to have kill pressure, but also to dissuade people from diving them when they get pushed in. Ornn is actually a likely candidate for that. Naturally, GP is always going to be the dude who takes Klepto. So please just punish this. I feel like so many teams get put in kind of this exact situation and never do anything about it.
Yeah. We saw a bit of that proactivity last set, but didn't turn into too much more than that. Haro trading off against SOFM in the jungle. Good hop out there, but Gorgo chasing him down. Needs to force the mid lane to try and react here, and Scout is able to do so, but now he's under attack and actually dodges back the other way and decides just to take it. Guogua gets first blood.
And that's a great start. It means that Cassiopeia is going to make a very clean back, be able to pick up her tier, and also probably get some extra, possibly vision to help her out. But I don't know what Haro was thinking. We've seen this multiple times from him, and now that he doesn't have a mid laner, he then tries to go and farm wolves. Like, SOFM, of course he's going to invade you. He knows that you're low. He knows that you've burned your summoner spells. He's going to take everything in the kitchen sink from you, and Haro is frankly just wasting time.
Yeah, he can't even recall there because you got Guogua pushing up, and apparently something happened bot lane. So let's not take a look at that and look at the jungle once again. But this is just Scout dying for Haro's sins.
Yeah. The fact that Haro thought that he could even invade there, he should have just placed some scouting vision and then made the decision. Forces his mid laner to go in to compensate for his aggressive behavior, and then kills Scout. Scout doesn't have any summoner spells, loses his wolf camp, and loses all of the wave that was crashing, because I don't even think he got into range of experience because he was being zoned off so hard.
It's actually very interesting because Haro is somehow level 5 while SOFM is level 4, so it looks like he was leeching experience from somewhere. Maybe the mid lane. Maybe
he did get close enough for it.
But still, he's level 5, so in terms of experience, it's not going to hurt him too much, but in terms of his mid laner, it is going to hurt Scout because he was starting to wrestle back control in that mid lane.
And then we also have to talk about the elephant in the room, which is the bot lane. That solo kill. And I think we're finally going to get a look at it. Okay, double stun catch into an immediate ignite. There's not much that Hootie could do. Tries to get the flash just to create distance. Yeah, that's how that was probably about to go.
And there's another gank. Okay, well, gonna be a couple minutes until we can get that one for you. But Guogua ganked in the mid lane and top lane now. Ray doing so much damage to Flandre. Has to flash over the wall. That was a great flash by Flandre though. However, Haro also on his way up to the top lane a little too late.
Yeah, if he had flash, maybe he would go for that one. But he sees that instead, okay, their top laner is going to back. We have priority here. I can grab deep vision and possibly steal away this blue buff. So I do like that Haro is not taking a step back after kind of the previous faults of that initial gank, but it's taking 2 steps forward, especially because he has vision about where SOFM is.
Okay, Crystal. So, yeah, I do have to wonder what happened topside, because it looked like Flandre must have gone down to get the ward there, but why would you walk that way? It's so aggressive.
What happened there?
I don't know what happened bot lane. I don't know what happened top lane. There's a lot of unanswered questions.
It's a pretty loose game so far. It's going to be one of those games.
Haro is invading, and Flandre's going to stop him. I guess I'll just take the Grump now away from SOFM. Perfect. I'll take it. 80 gold.
Bet that trinket would have been very helpful if you had placed it on the other side of the jungle entrance to see that GP coming.
Yeah, I think loose is a great word for this game so far.
They just got off an airplane, you know, shaking it off. A little bit of jitters.
It's a 4-hour flight, I believe.
Yeah, Snake are trying to, you know, tighten it up. They don't want to lose again on their home turf, especially not in front of that vocal crowd.
Yeah, 100%. SOFM back on his Raptors. There's definitely SOFM territory. Scout wants to get some damage onto the jungle. Not going to happen, though. Perfect timing. Starting to get some of those up. We saw one burnt in the bottom lane, but for the rest of the map, they still have theirs.
So we can actually talk about SOFM and his obsession with Raptors. And it was actually better in the previous meta, just because we have changed jungle catch-up EXP. We've weakened it, so you don't automatically kind of slingshot yourself back into the game. But the thing is SOFM was trained by the same guy that trained Levi, Tenakun, over in the GPL. And Tenakun has a background in Dota, and Dota has a mechanic that, unlike League of Legends, you can deny creeps and control EXP in the lane that way. And so the only mechanic that is close to that in League of Legends is actually the jungle camps. So there's a reason why both Levi and SOFM are really heavy on contesting Krugs, contesting Raptors, and trying to control the experience of the enemy jungler through denying their camps.
It's very interesting. Also, when he plays on the red side as well, he very much likes to get control of the Dragon area. And just say this is his now. Ray aggressing once more onto Flandre, gets the knock-up, barrel comes down, but Ray is actually very close to getting this kill right here. Flandre does have his ultimate, but hasn't used it just yet. There's a stopwatch, but Ray's just waiting over there, slams into the wall. That's just a very easy kill for Ray.
And no emotion, just stone cold killer there from Ray.
Yeah. That was actually insane. I'm very surprised Flandre let that happen to himself.
I mean, he doesn't have flash, he just kind of has to watch it.
I mean, yes, but Flandre has made some very over-aggressive decisions, like moving around the backside, walking into walls, allowing Ray to exploit the matchup. Because even in the matchups we saw today in Eon versus GP, yes, Ornn is very good into the GP because you have the knockups, you can't orange out of them. You should never push too much up against Ornn because he will chase you down.
That actually is a very key point, the fact that a lot of Ornn's CC is in displacements as opposed to hard CC, and Ornn just being one of the few things, like, he can't contest with that. I believe if you apply Brittle, I'll have to double check on this. If you apply Brittle, you actually increase the distance that a displacement affects you, or the length of which you are displaced, which is just bizarre. Like, that is just so overpowered.
Yeah. But it does definitely extend the duration. I know that 100% because, well...
That's nuts! Displacements are so few and far between in League of Legends. Think of, you could probably count all of the champions on one hand that have displacements built into their kit, because, again, you can't really cleanse or get out of it very easily.
Yeah. I will say there actually is quite a few champions. I didn't know that because I'm a Lowy player, and the ultimate
Thresh,
stops it.
Alistar,
Kled.
Azir.
The Tug.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Thresh, Jarvan, Azir. There's a lot. SOFM jumps onto Ray. He does have his ultimate. Chooses to burn the flash here instead. So good stuff from SOFM, trying to alleviate some pressure here.
And we had conversation about how Haro needed to team up with Ray, make use of that CC, get this Kha'Zix snowballed on a squishy champion, but instead it's SOFM who's trying to give some credit back to Flandre, get him settled back into the lane and giving him a lot of attention. And you can see that also in Snake's wording. They have a lot of defensive protective vision around their mid lane, so SOFM is able to kind of pick and choose who he's going to help out, while Gogo is able to stay safe. So I like the fact that Snake are, slowing the game down, responding to where EDG have placed pressure, and trying to put out fires.
Very much important for them, but at the same time, I like that they're trying to get these skirmishes and at least trying to contest, because that's where they're going to win this game. Like, to go back what we were saying in Champions, like EDG will probably win macro. It's EDG. They are just good at this. But Snake, the way that they win is by doing well, because they have talented players in their respective roles.
Here we go, though. This is what we wanted to see.
Follow the Forge God.
Connects.
There's a knock-up. Haro chasing after as well, and Flandre will flash away. That's step one. Just needs to go again.
Yep, just a wash and repeat. Unfortunately for them, it's just a mountain dragon, so it's not like losing out on an Infernal if you want to commit time towards that top lane. But now what does SOFM do with that information? They've got control over the mid lane. Guogo is already starting to shift down towards mid, and it's either going to be blue buff or a bot lane dive, but Mako knows what's up.
Yeah, unfortunately, he doesn't have Cataclysm right now. Otherwise, for sure, he'd go towards that bottom lane. He's actually just pathing within the jungle, maybe trying to get some information on Haro, and also waiting for the Cataclysm to come up, so he could actually do something. Now the blue buff has spawns and Mako's just like, it's probably going to be an SOFM here.
Yeah, but SOFM kind of loses his opportunity to react, and now he's forcing it.
Yeah, Bastion comes down right into the Dazzle stun to flank drag away and lose half of his HP.
And again, this is kind of classic Snake and why we say that EDG will have a stronger macro game than them. He's given information. He knows that Haro is up into the top side. It's going to take at least 30 seconds to reset his position, and so he has the option. Are we going to try to make a play bottom? Are we going to go for deep vision? Are we going to make a play on mid lane? And it kind of ended up being a none of the above scenario because he couldn't figure out where he wanted to hit, and EDG covered all of their bases. They're just so oppressive to play against.
Yep, they can do everything all the time. Top lane, Ray was looking to back, actually. It would be his first back of the game, even though he has that Iceborne Gauntlet. Seems to be what every Ornn is doing nowadays. Get their first Iceborne Gauntlet. And plus, it's because those mana items allow you just to stay in lane for forever.
Yeah, and you just get the armor also, so if you go Ninja Tabi into Gauntlet, GP's going to just stop doing damage to you.
And Flandre will take a trip back to base. He's actually got a very early Triforce, despite how the lane has gone, and the fact he's being ganked, he's ahead in terms of farm, and because he's got Kleptomancy, and because he's GP, he gets that Triforce.
It's certainly still going to be a while before Flandre really comes online. He's only level 10, so I actually think it's quite smart that EDG go for the Dragon now, not only because they know that SOFM aren't going to contest, but even if Snake did try to contest, it's a level 10 GP ultimate, not a level 11 GP ultimate. So I actually really like how they timed the windows there.
Yeah, there's also item spikes across the board. Look at bot lane, Quinton's user is now completed from Crystal. So get it while you can. Next dragon's going to be Ocean. And EDG will pretty much just continue to scale up and start to get towards their first item spikes as well, because Scout's pretty close to his Nash's Tooth. Got those double Iceborne Gauntlets on the side of iBoy and Ray. And Haro as well as SOFM. So SOFM will need to find a way out of here. Whoa, that was actually knocked back. It looked like Cataclysm went down onto Azir, but he got knocked out of it.
And
well, that just feels bad.
It was just a party, and SOFM was stuck in the middle of the mosh pit.
Yeah, that was not good times for him, and he just dies in the enemy jungle. I mean, first off, why are you recalling in the enemy jungle? EDG will instantly react to it.
To be fair, he was on a pink ward, so he thought that he was safe, but I do agree with you. SOFM, he does tend to be a little bit greedy. He always tries to kind of min-max his own advantages, so just trying to save himself time there by not exiting the jungle.
Wow.
But in the end, this is kind of the spillover effect.
Yep.
And the Raptor camp, really?
Yeah,
Take it all, burn it all.
SOFM took his, so I'm going to take yours. But mid tower goes down, 650 gold in the bank now for Scout, and he's already 20-30 farm against his counterpart.
And you don't often see the mid lane tower being the first one to go down, but maybe they can punish?
No.
That
Not going to happen right there. And SOFM, he's scrambling to try and find something because he does need to help these laners now, but he needs to find somewhere that's winning. I mean, bot side is essentially equal. Top, there is a slight advantage to Flandre in terms of gold, but they haven't really pushed Ray out.
I mean, the big opportunity for Snake is that they have a lot of mobility and kind of semi-global presence built into their composition. So you got the GP ult, you got the Tom Kench, and I think at this point, you either focus down bot lane and try to make use of kind of the hard CC that Varus will offer you, or you get control of the river by helping out your mid lane and then try to make a pick by having Tom Kench TP you to somewhere and then also using or layering the GP ultimate on top of it.
But in either of those scenarios, they need to be aggressive here and
There
make
they go.
something happen.
They're doing it. They're hunting.
Yeah, they're grouping up. Take away the wards in the river, setting up around this dragon area. Haro and Scout also walking down there as well to try and contest.
Unfortunately, EDG never checked the river alone. They made sure that Scout had control of the mid lane, and then Haro and Scout held hands and walked into bottom river, and that is what dissuaded them. But now mid.
That's the ultimate used down onto Scout. The Emperor's Divide.
Comes
He's going to disengage. Oh, Gangplank ultimate as well, but there's no one to actually capitalize. Haro in the bush. He's going to find Guoguo. SOFM around the side. He's just going to meet a Sand Soldier. Haro needs to back away from Guoguo. And Scout does get out alive. Here comes the Ezreal ultimate. Just tags Guoguo.
And see, that was the right attempt from Snake, but hold on, this fight might not be over. That is Iceborne Gauntlet.
Ornn, and he's found Cassiopeia in the mid lane. Disappears against the side of the wall.
Okay, again, right idea from Snake. They were looking for the skirmishes. They were trying to use the mobility for the pick. Unfortunately, they didn't find it. It wasn't at the right time. EDG then collapsed and punished and are now on the offensive, pushing through to second tier mid. That would be second tier mid falling before any other outer tower.
Yeah, this is and there's also a very rare circumstance. You almost never see that happen. Azir will just plonk down this turret in the mid lane. At least bottom lane will be traded for Snake, but it's very much the smallest of consolation prizes.
And Rift Herald is still up and available. Yeah, it's closing in on 18 minutes, so that window is going to be very short for them to pick it up. But if they do, like, the fact that you don't have to use Rift Herald to crack mid lane tower is massive.
And now they can move towards that area, pick up Herald, cracking out a turret, or even just crack the tower and then look towards another in the tower because you now have the mid lane tower down. So EDG are in a very powerful position. They're actually moving their bot lane towards the mid lane to try and pivot around this area.
Yeah, I don't know if EDG are going to be able to get away with the Rift Herald. I think that it'll probably just time out simply because Snake know exactly what is happening, and now they're going to swap their duo, which just took the bottom tower towards the top side, or even possibly match iBoy and Mako in the mid lane. So I actually think that this one will fade out unless we see something really crazy.
We'll see, because I saw literally a triangle of pings around where they want the vision for this Rift Herald. I mean, SOFM very much aware, but we'll see if we see a contest now from iBoy and Mako around this ward. SOFM just have to back off, needs to respect that bottom lane.
This is just so
teleport.
risky because key itemization has been completed for Snake.
Scout went down there. Here comes the ultimate. Double knockup onto the bot lane here, and Crystal's already very low. Has to flash out of this one. Ray, he's zoning two people right now as Flannery turns around to get to the rest of his team. But while all that was happening, Cassiopeia just demolished EDG.
And again, Azir had died. Complete itemization or key itemization coming out of Snake's members, like that was just such a risky time for EDG to even look for a fight, especially one that they weren't set up for. So this could have been a scenario where no one gets the Rift Herald, that EDG are just able to hang around it and just dissuade Snake from taking it. But because they went for a very uncalculated risk, they're now going to lose it and the towers will go in favor of Snake.
They wanted more. They wanted everything. But in the end, it did end up biting out with 3 kills. We get to see that what happened to Scout and hopefully how Cassiopeia just murdered everyone.
Yeah, just that added mobility. And where are EDG members to be found? You can see them on the minimap. They're trying to rush up. And who do they run into? Cassiopeia. And she's actually going to control the bottom half of the screen. It's just a massive ultimate. Pick up some free gold for herself.
Yeah. And just caught in the choke point against Cassiopeia. There was a snake in the bush, and that's essentially what happens.
And now things are going to flip really dramatically for Snake. So you've got the Rage Blade, the Wit's End completed. We already talked about the Trinity Force, but now GP's also got a Ghost Blade in his back pocket and the Rift Herald. Snake are sitting fat, pretty, and happy right now with the Rift Herald. They have the swagger. They know that they can fight for this Ocean Drake. Azir's still trying to scale up. He's only got the Nashers. He's only got the Void Staff. And they need so much more time to kind of set down, control vision, and lay down poke before EDG get really aggressive in these fights now that Snake have these new items.
I mean, it's worth mentioning that we're 20 minutes into the game and Snake essentially have a 2,000-3,000 gold lead over EDG, which is in itself pretty impressive considering the two teams that we're watching here today.
Yeah, and at any point, it will mean that this tower will fall. So what Snake are doing is they're basically playing the smoke game. They're going to flush EDG out, and they're making them choose. Either you guard the dragon, or you lose your mid lane. The Rift Herald's gone down. Might have been a little bit early for my taste, especially in tandem with that GP ultimate, but it's clear what Snake want.
Could have maybe held on to it because right now they can't finish off the mid tower, but they can now position around the dragon area itself. Ray is poking away, just gaining ground on them, which appears to be the plan right now. Crystal just toss out an ultimate, it looked like, but did not connect. In comes the Ram.
Not a lot of follow-up.
No, from neither team actually. Though Ray is just trying to find someone at the front lines that he can maybe capture.
But this is what cannot happen. Snake are starting to get whittled down by a lot of this poke from Azir, Kha'Zix, and Ezreal.
Yeah, SOFM lost a lot of his HP, and that's kind of goes back to the problem that they popped the Herald so early. They couldn't just pincer EDG and put them in a bad lose-lose situation, and now EDG can just shoulder their way towards the dragon.
Yeah, they're just being the more decisive team right now, which is what just cost Snake in this initial play setup. Like, Snake, you're actually strong right now. That shouldn't be the automatic case.
Yep. They're good. They just need to play a little slower instead of getting antsy, because that's exactly what happened. In EDG, the fact they were just able to walk over to the dragon and just take it when Snake initially had the priority.
And it's seeing kind of that reset factor that, again, Clement was talking about on the desk really come to fruition. The fact that EDG slowed down the team fight, but hold on.
SOFM, he's engaging. Great instant reaction from Mako there, but Scout is already dead. The rest of the team trying to disengage from this one, and Ray has to flash the wall. So good stuff by SOFM.
Yeah, lose the tower, but Taric Ultimate absorbs so much of the damage, and no one but Scout goes down, which means that Snake cannot continue to siege. So again, EDG just pumping the brakes on any sort of play that Snake are trying to put together.
I will compliment them where credit is due. They did manage to take the tower and also Scout, so there is a kill and a tower in the bank. And
Again.
I feel like I've seen this one before in the same brush as well. And this time he didn't even have a pink ward.
It's just not your friend, SOFM. Find a different bush.
Literally go anywhere else. But you're absolutely right. EDG, like, they are very good at stemming the flow, essentially. Like, as soon as Snake do find an advantage, it's stopped instantly. It's not going to be another tower. It's not going to be a WE situation where they just lose all their mid lane towers and lose the game.
Holding the line.
Yeah.
But EDG still, excuse me, not EDG. Snake still have so much control over the side lanes. Because EDG have lost their 2 outer towers, Snake can now play with, you know, building up big, massive waves and trying to flush EDG out of key monster objective areas like the Baron, which is now in play. Also means that there's just a really nice farm lane for Flandre.
Yeah, he actually gets the farm from the GP. He's already 2.5 items because that's what GPs do. So he will be approaching the 3rd item quite shortly. Probably as soon as this fight breaks out, he should have 3 items. Next dragon's going to be Mountain, so both teams will want to contest this, but more importantly, it is around this Baron area right now. Vision now being contested, and Scout has his 2.5 items as well. So both teams are actually pretty strong.
Yeah, it is the Vision game. EDG have to be exceptionally careful whenever they're trying to pressure for that type of vision control, simply because they are against a GP, they are against a Tom Kinch. We've already seen that Snake are very keen to find catch them out and make certain picks with this composition. So Snake actually just playing this very clinical, understanding that now we're back in control. They've controlled their side lanes like we were talking about. You can see that Flandre got the bottom wave going, pulls Ornn away from the fight, and now Snake have the gusto to step forward and start setting down their triangle vision in EDG's red side jungle.
I'm also looking towards Crystal here because he is pretty built up. He's got 245 farm at 24 minutes, as does his counterpart. The AD carry has just been farming up a storm in this game. Now looking towards SOFM. Gonna spot Haro. Flashes away, or rather jumps away.
Bug about to get squashed. I don't know what Haro was thinking there. That could have been a lot worse, depending on who was standing in that bush.
100% with SOFM had landed the flag and drag. What is it with junglers and laughing today?
I think it's also just an SOFM thing.
True. I mean, Pepper was going off as well earlier, and that did not go well for him following the laugh. It was all downhill from there. But Flandre has been in this bot lane literally for, I don't know, 2-3 minutes now, just farming and farming away. He's going to get pretty big unless someone attends to him.
And Snake are pretty comfortable kind of fighting in this position. At least for their 2018 season, we actually watched them kind of make this Baron dance multiple times. It's been a lot of the times where they've tried to swing back these miracle games. Unfortunately, the series haven't closed for them, but these types of situations where they're playing around the Baron, where they're trying to manage side lanes, is something they are very comfortable in. And it's usually where you find the big Snake miracle comeback.
Yeah, Flandre is now 3 items, and this is essentially the ticking time bomb that we were talking about in previous sets. I mean, you can leave the GP up if you want, but eventually he's going to get to the point, regardless of whether you want him or not, to just obliterate your team.
And then it comes down to vision control. You know, do you allow the GP to get into the area first, to set up his barrels, to lure you into the trap, and then just blow you up? Or do you stay on the offensive? Are you proactive in denying the vision? Are you careful about how you go and face check into areas, you know, smoke him out, and then look for the team fight? Because that's how you can punish him.
I mean, the Baron has been started. It's down to half. Haro and Ray
he used his
placing
hop
wards over the wall. They have seen him. SUFM will get away from this. Flag drag right into the angry Baron, so probably don't want to do that. However, we have initiated onto EDG. Burnt the ultimate from Mako.
Yeah, trade 1 for 1 there, although Snake did burn their smite. Of course, it will be back up right about now, just so SOFM can get his health back.
Now EDG starting to push down the mid lane. There is nothing to take there for a long while, but they can use it as a pivot point because Snake don't have anywhere safe to run through now in the mid lane.
And now it basically comes down to execution. So if Snake are trying to continuously move EDG around the map and then use their added mobility to find picks or to catch someone out unsuspecting, EDG want to stay clumped together, really pivot around Azir as their primary focus point. So wherever Scout goes, everyone else should be the follow. The only guy that has a bit more freedom and kind of how he wanders around on his own is, of course, Ray on Ornn.
Yeah, EDG looking towards this. There are a lot of wards in that pit. EDG looking towards the Baron again, moving towards the top side. I mean, they still have those altars up, so theoretically, you think that EDG should be able to just knock these over, since they took 2 towers in the mid lane.
It's because EDG aren't actually driving this game. Snake have been in control, and they're the ones that are dictating where we're fighting, how we're posturing, and what tempo we're moving at. And that's a good place for Snake to be. That said, they don't have a lot of experience being in this type of position, and so we are starting to see them, kind of fumble. They can't keep dancing around, not executing on something, because the longer this game goes, the stronger Scout is going to get. And we've seen the massive Azir damage and how Azir can really take over a game.
Yeah, it's like usually at this point in time we should be behind. What's our comeback mechanic? But they're ahead.
I think if we just sit and farm out the dragons, boys.
That's what we can do. But unfortunately, EDG are just continuing to get
Here
these dragons. Here's the teleport. Trading a dragon for a baron is exactly what you want to do. And of course, this is being spotted by EDG, instantly stopping the dragon here.
They're just going to burn it. Burn and turn, boys. Burn and turn.
It's at 2,000 HP, and it's already gone. Snake just needs to disengage here, but SOFM, why are they forcing through this choke point? It's allowing Mako a chance to try and engage on them. Flag drag away. In comes Core of the Forge God, triple quadra knockup, and Scout knocks them all back as well. They need to get to a safe point on the map. I mean, the outer turret is still up, but EDG are pretty healthy apart from my boy.
The empowered recalls, can they get there in time?
Oh, they have 4 seconds. They might be able to just do this. Guoguo, try and get towards the bush. Mako is going to try and push through the tower, but the miasma is huge. And Haru face checks right into the petrifying gaze.
This is literally an every man for himself type of moment for both teams. Immediately, Crystal just pieced out. He's like, I'm sorry, guys. I got the empowered recall. I'll see you on the other side.
The rest of you can fend for yourselves. And luckily, Guoguo was not the one to teleport immediately because he was the one who was just the savior of the rest of them backing off. But that was good stuff from Snake. I mean, they picked up Baron. It was perfect timing. It was very much an objective trap.
It wasn't just good stuff. It was great stuff. Again, where is the prodigy from Snake? The potential there. We know that these guys are great players, and they've been together for a long time. They've been trying to find the right puzzle piece that can slot into everything, but they're never decisive in their macro calls. Finally, I don't know who it was, Flandre makes the teleport, they burn the Baron, and they walk away with it for free. So now they were in the driver's seat, both hands on the wheels. They've just stepped on the gas.
They're very much accelerating. That's 4,000 gold lead there for Flandre over his counterpart as well on the gangplank. And to be honest, he's just going to get out of control at this point. Haru has to hop over the wall. And it's just complete control now to Snake. And this is just pretty fantastic to see. This is Snake beating EDG and doing it in good fashion. And
it's now going to be the Scout versus the World show. Azir's damage cap is really the only one that can compete with the fact that Crystal now has 3 complete items, as well as the fact that Flandre is very big, about to complete his Infinity Edge as he's sitting on Crit Cloak and BF Sword. So Gangplank's going to hit like a truck, Varus is going to hit like a truck, and Scout has to stay alive.
This is engaged underneath the tower. Good Emperor's Divide, but in comes the Ezreal ultimate as well. Guoguo is on the front lines. He does so much damage. Haru and Scout explode, and only now does Ray turn up to the fight, but the fight is pretty much already over. As I say, the Core of the Forge God almost taking down SOFM.
They're just running over EDG, and the gold lead is starting to spiral quickly out of control, closing in on 10K in favor of Snake.
This is actually absurd. Snake are pushing it down the mid lane right now. They have the Baron's up minion wave. Flandre is approaching the tower. It's going to do so much damage because of Trial by Fire. Hootie has now got Tower Echo, which is absolutely perfect for them because they get that little minion alive. And now they're just cracked open the mid lane inhibitor tower.
Can they go the distance? So we're going to take a reset. We're going to spend all of this global gold that Snake has just accrued. They still have the outer tower up in the top lane, the bottom tower, as well as an open inhib in the middle. So Snake do have a wealth of options about how they want to attack the map. So we take another look at this dive. And this is just the confidence of Snake. I mean, that's probably the best Azir ult that you're going to get. Unfortunately, it just punches them all into this massive GP ultimate. He's hitting like a truck, and Snake just have this massive gold lead that is just boosting them in these skirmishes.
Why do I have this feeling at the back of my head that this isn't a done deal, though? Why do I feel like that? Because Snake, they have almost the 10,000 gold lead. They had the Baron. It's an open middle inhibitor tower, but for some reason, I'm just like, there is a chance that this doesn't end.
This was a very similar situation that EDG were put in their first game against Fun plus Phoenix. So we have seen them come back from situations worse than this. And we also have a lot of tape of Snake fumbling situations better than this.
Yeah. But they are taking literally everything right now. This is an inner tower falling. They have so much gold over EDG.
Just hold my hand, Pulse. We're going to ride the Snake train. I'm tentatively stepping onto it. Raz looks over at me like, nah, that's about to slide out from underneath you.
I see you, Raz. But Flandre, again, in a side lane, is getting to soak all this farm. He's almost equaling a 100 CS is what I was trying to say.
It's a Flame Horizon.
I was trying to avoid saying it because we say it every single time, but I might as well just say it. It's almost approaching the Flame Horizon over his counterpart.
In vogue to talk about CS.
Hello. SOFM jumped right on top of Mako with a Cataclysm, but there's no real follow-up from either team because Mako will interrupt a lot of that using his own ultimate. Mako now gobbled up by Hoodie. Spits him back out. That's a kill. Flandre very low, but Ray unable to fully capitalize. And Scout comes in, actually completely destroys Flandre. And now everyone has to scatter. The big damage source is down.
And the thing that I really want to point out is where that fight actually happened. That was kind of in between the mid and top tower. Obviously, Snake were using that pathway so they could apply pressure to both of them and then cheating between it. There's nothing really there, though, you know? There's no tower, there's no buff. We weren't really fighting over anything. It was literally Snake just trying to play the big game by trying to catch EDG out, and they got caught out. And that's kind of the problem with Snake. That's why they keep finding themselves in positions where they have these big leads, and then unfortunately it's just miscalculations, poor macro movements. Like, why are you there without your team?
Yep, he ults in, and it's like, well, okay, timeout. Mako's popped his ultimate, so chill for a couple seconds.
Yeah, and the thing is then it forces a lot of key ultimates to be used in response, so reactively as opposed to proactively. And then from there, Scout just realizes that he has a good position, and, you know, Azir was doing so much damage with Ezreal from the safety over the wall, and as soon as they see that, you know, Snake's front line has dropped and they've used a lot of their key abilities, they immediately jump over the wall and punish Snake. And now you've lost all of that momentum where you were applying pressure to EDG's base, where you were trying to siege up key objectives that would have made this next Baron in 1 minute free, and now we're back to a 50-50 coin flip, and you don't want that when you got 10k gold lead.
And that's why, as a fan, as a caster, as a player, you look at Snake and you can never really feel confident that the game will actually finish. No matter how much that they get, situations like that happen, and especially against a team like EDG who can capitalize, they can see those small gaps in the armor they can exploit. He's actually still in the same bush.
Okay.
SOFM, get out of that bush.
We are about to have a heart-to-heart. This is going to be your fine Jesus moment. Get out of those side lanes. Just be with your team. Be the Jarvan. He does this on every champion. It doesn't matter if he's playing Gragas, if he's playing Elise, if he's playing Jarvan, if he's playing Zac. He will play them all exactly the same way.
Oh my God. You know what? I think he finds his happy place. Like last split, it was the Raptors. This time he got the red buff. Good job, SOFM. But now it's that bush behind red buff.
But he's so good. He plays so risky.
He does. Trust us when we say he is a good player. In comes the Ram, knocks up 2. They were kind of stalling out on the front lines. The Bruisers are very, very tanky, and the ultimate from Gangplank was a, let's just back away. Time out, ladies and gentlemen. Let's stop this.
Who has position on mid lane? And Snake immediately tried to burn the Baron. I've seen this before.
We have, but last time EDG were on the opposite side of the map. That's actually secured by Guoguo. Haru, he does have the ultimate down top. He's invulnerable for now. Flashes over the wall, but Scout will be falling momentarily. Mako trying to get out of this one, and with his dying breath, may save the rest of his team, halving the lineup. But that's the ultimate coming in there. It's Crystal and Hoodie taking the Abyssal Voice to chase down. Haru low. Flandre teleporting into the bottom lane, and he has one sight. And that's going to be the bottom lane tower.
Multiple members of EDG dead, especially the Azir. It means they've got no wave clear. So many people are low. This should be the game.
It should be. They're pushing in with the minion wave. 5-man strong. Haru, iBoy, and Ray, the only ones left to defend. In comes Forge God once again. Great knockup, but there's no real damage to follow up. Haru needs to get into this backline, but Guoguo is looking very scary right now. Looking at iBoy, see if he can do the kiting. Can he get any of the kills down? But Snake unable to finish this game unless they're going to loop back towards these minions. But in fact, decided to back away. Lots of damage onto Haru. But unfortunately, he will not go down, and Snake had to push again.
Oh my God! I cannot believe EDG held there. The king of Ornn ultimates from Ray. Huge shout out, because not only did he hit multiple members of Snake and deny them the ability to do damage in the duration of the knock-up, but he cleared the minion wave. He hit a lot of those creeps and knocked them very low.
Yeah, and iBoy is also sniping the stragglers from the sidelines using the Mystic Shot, and that's pretty much it. EDG have managed to survive by the skin of their teeth. Now Elder Dragon is on the docket for both teams, and it just gives another chance for EDG to potentially come back.
But I don't want it. Snake played the team fight, you know, the late lane phase into the early mid game so well. They were decisive. They pulled the trigger on Baron twice. They're now going to do it on the Elder. There's nothing EDG can do. They didn't get in time to wander and place down their vision. So this isn't EDG just, you know, being lazy on the ball. They know that this is happening. And now EDG are like the Spartans, like, this is where we hold the men, set up the shields.
I agree. Like they've earned the win. They just need to take it. Like it's literally there for the taking. But EDG continuously able to hold through miracle plays from the mid lane, the top lane, through iBoy, from anywhere. It just keeps happening.
I feel like I'm watching Hercules versus the Hydra right now.
Like who's Hercules and who's the Hydra?
Well, the snake is the Hydra. Oh, come on.
Well, okay, I wasn't thinking that symbolic, okay, but...
Oh, with that simple. Your analogy was that simple.
Yeah, fair enough. Flandre, full item build right now. Should be able to just one-shot the entire team, but he keeps stepping forwards and taking all this damage. Keeps happening.
Ah, the Azir. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. It's like that older sibling that just has the hand held out.
The long limbs. Good knock up there, but who will complete the Flank and Dragon? Oh no, Guo turns around, misses the Petrifying Gaze. We've got the Celestial ult come down from Taric. There's the ultimate, and Ray will instantly fall, and everyone else in the pit, including Mako, and now they should be able to crack this tower.
Yeah, great GP ultimate, completely zoned Scout and iBoy out of that fight. Yeah, they were able to tag with their super long range, but they weren't getting the full damage combo off that they needed, and without a front line now, this should be it.
Surely. One Nexus turret remaining, only 3 defenders. They don't have the damage to get through Hootie, though Scout goes all the way in, blasts him with the Emperor's Divide, but just focus the Nexus. You can do it, Snake. Snake will take game 1.
We did it. It's not the series, but it is a game.
It was a win, and hey, we were talking about it. There's a very good chance that Snake pick up at least a game in this set.